What is going on, guys? Welcome to this PES 2019 Master League video here today. A bit of a different one. I've been doing my Arsenal Master League series, which has been fun, but I want to be looking for some young players, best players in the future. They're kind of videos I've made before in Football Manager and FIFA, those style of videos and growth tests, everything like that. So let's see if we can do that on PES. I don't think we can simulate, so I'm just going to take a look at some of the young players in the game, some of the best young players in the Master League. We'll see the best rated players and maybe see how cheap you could sign them for, everything like that. But go ahead to leave a big thumbs up on the video and subscribe if you're new around here as well. And of course, if you want to see more, as I mentioned, leave a thumbs up on the video. So here, for that, to search for some of the young players, I might do a few of these different ones, but here I've wanted to search. There's no 15-year-old players in the game, only 16-year-olds, so I still went with the 15 to 16-year-old in the age, otherwise known as the Adam Johnson settings. So also, I've put the overall rating minimum of 60. As you can see, search results 18. There's a few more, but yeah, they're probably not going to be great. Just because they're a young player doesn't mean they're going to be good. So we're going to take a look at the highest rated players. So we'll just go across to the ratings. It's sorted from highest rating to lowest. And as you can see, even those lower 60s, we're not going to take a look at. It's more these guys with the high 70s. Oh, no, it's in the 70s and then the high 60s more specifically. Guys that could develop potential. I don't know how they will develop in PES. I'm in the last couple of years, I haven't played Master League so much, but these guys, judging off their age, if they're only 16, they should become fairly good players. So Tamagawa, and if you're like a team, again, just to show you, some of these guys are free transfers. They're not at a club, so keep that in mind as well. If you see some players that don't have contract ending, that means they're available, they're a free agent, as you can see there, so you could pick them up for free. But the top three guys here are quality, more specifically the top two, the 272 rated guys, Tamagawa. So yeah, I'm going to take a bit of an analysis at these players right now. His defensive prowess is low, as you would expect for like a striker. He's a shadow striker, second striker. And all those, yeah, of course, those are going to be a bit lower. They're all those 40s, goalkeeping attributes. But 78 stamina is not too bad. His form is 6. He's 180 centimeters. Do players grow in PES? Young players, have to see. But he's got quite a few of those attributes in the 70s, so he can easily develop. If you look at his explosive power, 79, he's got an attribute that will tick over into the 80, into the 80 so quick. That's real good. And a few others that probably by the end of the season as well, those mid-70s. So he's going to be a player you could sign quite easily. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I thought I'll show you some of these guys and maybe the cheapest you can get them for, or how I can make the signing. So I'm Manchester United here. The negotiations for the player specifically seems pretty easy. It's more so with the team here. Initially, that's a low rating for the chance of signing, so try and alter that. But also for a young player, you might want to tie him down for more years, so you might as well go 3 years, but you can't offer this player long. You can't offer him a contract longer than 3 years, so we'll just give him that 3-year deal. It's still 94%, still all good. But he may be a bit of a tricky one to sign if we go to the highest transfer fee. It's really weird that you can't. That's why I don't understand about PES, to be honest. You can't offer more money. You can't put more money on the deal, which is so weird. And selling options I don't generally like, and it doesn't increase it massively. So he would be one that's really hard to sign, judging off that initially. Like that won't, the chance of signing 42%, I'm probably not even going to, now the player. You could pick a player to trade. Could that increase it if you have a player that you don't need as much? I don't know. This Manchester United squad's, who's someone that's not really going to be part of the team. Maybe someone that's, I'm looking for a player that would be in the first team, but so he's a decent rating, you know what I mean? Fellaini for the lols, yeah. But I still want it to be realistic. There's still, strong players in the team. So maybe just go with like a McTominay or something like that as an example. And I guess they don't want him disable. They would rather not have the player. Okay, so yeah, it would be really okay, you look at him, he's going to be hard to sign because you can see the chance of signing is like the lowest as possible. Yeah, I think so. Like there wouldn't be no bar. I haven't seen that yet. So he'll be a tough one. He'll be a tough one to make a signing for. Yeah, unless I'm not sure what you could offer. If there's a limit of the transfer money that you could actually offer, which I don't understand why it's like that, but yeah, you can get a gauge of his ability though. His ability is good if you can. He's got the long throw player skill. So, and I find it funny, like they're all Japanese, the top 3 players. Like for a second, I was like, like, are they the same player? I was just like seeing their faces. But anyway, Isobe, he and Enomoto, their guys. Probably the most best and realistic to sign is Isobe, if that's how you say his name. 6. I'm not sure if these are real players though. I don't think so. Yeah, because with that team. But anyway, he's probably the most realistic to sign. Well, possible, probably the better word. And he's more, well, some well-rounded attribute. He doesn't have a really, really low attribute, of course, apart from the goalkeeping related ones. So he could be more that overall balanced central midfielder. And take a look. He can play those positions in midfield. Mostly a central midfielder, though. You can take a look at his personality there and the defensive tactic, offensive tactic, but still very, very young at 16. And let's see if he'll be one. Probably more possible to sign here. That's pretty good. Contract length. Again, with the same case, 3 years, that should be enough for his deal. But see, this is something as well. You could lower his salary as well. Quite a bit. Well, you can't do it lower than that, but normally when it's at least 80, if it's at least 80%, yeah, it should go through. And then the chances of signing, again, I feel 74% won't go through. I feel 81%. And I'm very new to PES. I'm judging off my negotiations already as well. So you could add a few little different things. But hey, I was able to lower, well, if the transfer does go through, lower the salary and that fee, especially for a team like Manchester United. But if you're not a huge team, if you're a team that's even like mid-table or lower mid-table or even like one of the newly promoted teams, more specifically in the Premier League, or you're starting in the Championship, you should have enough money to, maybe you won't be able to make many other deals, but yeah, if we talk about if you're starting in the Championship, he's a guy you could bring in and be part of the first team and develop as you get up to the Premier League and become, he's like a perfect signing for that, no doubt, because he'll develop for at least the next 6 or 7 seasons. He'll be young enough, even like in his early 20s. He'll still be growing very, very well. So now I'm not going to do that for every player. We're just going to see their attributes, and you can see how you could make a similar deal to the previous one I made for these players. So then there's Enomoto. I'll just go back to the overall rating, just so you can see those. He's a 69 overall player, right back, and then there's like four fullbacks coming up. So if we try and compare the attributes of these guys, he should be better. The form attribute, very important, so keep that in mind. His is only 5, and a few other ones, weak foot usage, keep that in mind. And if any of them, like the defensive styles, defensive tactic, they're very similar. If we go into, do have any skills? Nah, no skills or playing styles. So if we go to the positions as well, Enomoto, he can play right midfield. Teixeira, he can play a lot of positions, actually, in defense and midfield, or potentially to be trained up in midfield. There's a few of those guys. Enomoto, not as versatile, but the better player, it seems, rating-wise. If we go down to these mid-60 lads now, a few of them, the lower attributes, a few of those more reds, more red. So, yeah, he has more stronger attributes. But yeah, you have many to choose from if you want a fullback right there. And the rest, this is off my personal opinion. I might be wrong how they develop in PES, but the low 60s, even though they're 16, they won't become a star. They won't really become a star player. But yeah, I'll take a look. You can see if any of these guys, I want to see if any of them have a really standout attribute. But look at this. It feels like those players have the same attributes. Like, look at these. None of them change for those 3 players there, those centre forwards. So I reckon they're just, these fake players, they're just made up, and they stuck their attributes on them and didn't change them too much. So really, for me, if you can sign Tamagawa, he will be amazing. But being the same rating, Isobe, hopefully, yeah, that signing will be able to go through. Just to show you, I'll show you that part. Because he's the same rating. If you look at the attributes, and he doesn't hit his lowest attribute is like 60. He's unwavering balance, but he's got none in the red apart from the goalkeeping attributes, which is pretty crazy for a 16-year-old. Like I said, he'll be so balanced, and to me, he's a must signing. He's a must signing if you are that championship side. He's that perfect and a similar level team to that. Where say if you've got other central midfielders around low 70s, mid 70s. You just put this guy straight in and you're set. Like you got a central midfielder for the rest of your career, pretty much, for the team, because he will continue to develop each season, especially over the next 5 or 6 as a minimum. And yeah, you got a guy who's going to come in that's good enough with your other first team players. But with the negotiations I did with Isobe, they were broken down. I thought they were pretty good, but yeah, we'll just leave it like that. I suppose that deal broke down. I wanted to show you some of those guys, but we'll just go back to it right now. Again, I just loaded this up with Manchester United, just for example, to do this. So we go back to the advanced search. Yeah, we still have the Adam Johnson settings on. And yeah, so it was a bit disappointing. We couldn't make that deal. Just to show you guys that he'd be able to sign. Maybe don't lower anything, like his wages, trying to get the cheapest. Maybe you have to go out and do that. Yeah, Tamagawa is really tough. Enomoto, he could be easier to sign, potentially. Have to see. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to show you some of these players to make you aware of that, because I've made similar videos, so some of you guys may be interested in that. But let me know if you're able to sim as easy as you can in Football Manager or FIFA, because I haven't really noticed that, like a calendar where you can go onto and skip days and everything like that. But let me know if you can, so I can do those kind of videos where you can see their progression and how they are in 5 or 6 seasons, 7 seasons, all that good stuff. But I did want to point out some of these players, and let me know any other specific guys I should maybe put into a video. And some I want to do one where I can put gameplay with it. Just let me know if you'd be interested to see that, where I sign the player and then maybe show some highlights of his goals, or his just key highlights if he's a defender or something like that. Let me know if if that sounds interesting to you guys, or maybe a case where I could play through a save like that and some younger players, and I make highlights and their progression over time. Of course, those videos will take longer to make, of course, because yeah, if I can't simulate or anything like that ahead of time, if I just have to skip games, but I'll be playing games to get the highlights at the same time. But yeah, I just want to know these kind of videos I could potentially make in PES 2019. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments. But that'll be it for now. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.